next. Firefighters facing red flag conditions on the front lines of the Lolo Peak fire.
Dangerous wildfire smoke reaches beyond hazardous levels in parts of western Montana.
And Franklin Elementary in Missoula ushering in a new era for a neighborhood school getting a brand new start.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. Dangerous fire behavior prompts the evacuation of more residents near Florence tonight. New orders issued by the Ravalli County Sheriff are telling people living west of Florence-Carlton Loop, south of One Horse Creek Road, and west of Highway 93 from One Horse Creek to Sweeney Creek to leave their properties. And
evacuated residents are asked to check in at the Search and Rescue Command Van in the Super One parking lot in Stevensville. As MTN's Augusta McDonald reports, firefighters face new challenges from tonight's weather.
The red flag warning spans between 5 p.m. and midnight. Initial attack crews are on standby in case these conditions whip up the fire or spark new starts.
Big heads up day for us. We're expecting a lightning. If we're lucky, it won't come over the top of the fire, but even if it's within probably 10 miles of the fire, we could possibly have outflow winds from that, which could affect fire growth depending exactly where those winds hit the fire.
Outflow winds come out of the thunderstorm and hit the ground. They have the potential to spread the fire in every direction.
That's why it's so dangerous to have one of those come over the top of a fire. And in addition to that, then if it has lightning on top of it, maybe some of the lightning strikes are inside the fire perimeter, maybe some of them in new areas.
Cole says the potential for intense lightning is a threat to firefighter and public safety. If strikes occur, stay indoors. Reporting in Florence, I'm Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
Fire operations on the northern side of the Lolo Peak fire were shut down for a time today after shots were fired near Mill Creek. Turns out it was just a recreational shooter, but deputies say shooting is prohibited under Stage 2 fire restrictions for both firefighter safety and for fire danger. The sheriff's office placed a roadblock at Highway 12 and Mill Creek Road to limit access to residents. And with critical fire conditions expected to continue, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost for a look at what's going on out there. Aaron.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we did see very isolated showers and very weak thunderstorms in the vicinity of the Lolo Peak fire tonight. As a matter of fact, Florence had wind gusts in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range earlier this evening. That just does not bode well for firefighting efforts. We will see cooler temperatures and some moisture, but it'll come at a price here over the next 24 hours. Hamilton today, our first Security Bank ICAM, very hard to make out the Bitterroot Mountains there. We're now starting to see increased precipitation, and that will continue overnight tonight into at least the first half of the day tomorrow, with more thunderstorms in the forecast, and with those more lightning strikes, maybe even more new fire starts. Full forecast coming up.
Some very slight improvement in the air quality for Missoula tonight, although conditions remain hazardous in the northern Bitterroot close to the Lolo Peak fire. In fact, it's some of the worst air in Missoula County in years, but is it the worst on record?
Sure seems that way. Meteorologist Russ Thomas spoke to health officials who say they don't expect to see any relief anytime soon.
How does smoke produced from local fires this season stack up with other smoky summers in Missoula County? In short, it's record-breaking.
The smoke in Seeley Lake right now is the worst we have ever seen in Missoula County. I've compared the numbers to what we're seeing in Seeley Lake this year compared to what we saw in Missoula in 2000, and it's not even close.
Air quality in Seeley Lake has been deemed hazardous 18 of the last 23 mornings. The Air Quality Index, which measures the amount of pollutants in the air, is deemed hazardous at a particulate concentration of 300. Seeley is routinely hitting 800 to 900. This has led to an increase in respiratory problems and a potential increase in cardiac emergencies.
You can't live in smoke that is as thick as they have had in the mornings all month and expect to escape unscathed.
And it is not just Seeley Lake that is suffering. Thanks to a burnout effort in the Bitterroot Valley Wednesday morning, one community briefly hit a level worse than any seen so far in the county this season.
They actually had the worst air we have seen in Missoula County was from Florence this morning. It was worse than anything we'd even seen in Seeley Lake.
September usually brings a decrease in fire activity, but the long-range forecast shows little hope for relief anytime soon. Even when activity does start to wane, there is little hope for immediate improvement.
These fires are in our backyard, so even when their fire activity starts to decrease, there will still be smoke produced from the smoldering and the creeping and whatever is left in that fire, and the communities that are right near those fires are going to keep getting smoke until those fires are actually out.
In Missoula, Russ Thomas, MTN News.
Thick smoke continues to choke the Bitterroot Valley. Through that dense haze, the people of western Montana are reflecting on how vital wildland firefighters are to the safety of western Montana and what they can do to show thanks.
Eric Clemens reports a foundation exists that does just that.
It's a job thick with inherent danger. The men and women fighting to protect homes in the line of fire risk everything to do so. Few people understand that sacrifice better than Dan and Barbara Lyon. 2 years ago, while fighting fire in Washington state, their son Daniel Jr. was critically wounded.
Our son Daniel was involved in the Twist River fire. He was the only survivor in a crash of 4. The other 3 perished, Rick, Andrew, and Tommy.
Daniel suffered burns on more than 70% of his body.
We're in a hospital in Harborview in Seattle, trying to tend to his needs and every wish that and prayer that he would survive it.
During that time, people with the Wildland Firefighter Foundation met with the Lions. It's an organization dedicated to helping heal the physical and mental wounds suffered by firefighters in the line of duty. Founder and director Vicki Miner started the foundation
in my kitchen in 1998, I believe, and we've been giving firefighters money ever since, helping them.
The foundation had heard about what happened to Daniel and wasted no time in offering assistance. It's what they do with firefighters across the country. But it's more than financial support. It's emotional support on a personal level.
They've brought his girlfriend over when he couldn't afford to do it. I mean, things that you and I don't even think of, they have done to support and try to make his life acceptable. And it's, I like to say, you can't even put words to how much they've meant to us and what they've done for us.
The foundation did everything it could to let the Lions know there was hope.
We brought another firefighter who had been in an aviation crash, and 2 of the people had died.
That firefighter suffered injuries similar to Daniel's. He showed the Lions his scars.
To show them that there was hope for Daniel, that Daniel will come back.
And Dan says he is coming back.
He's looking forward to the future and knows that he has a future, which is, there was a time that he didn't think he did.
Daniel still has a long road ahead of him. He still faces many surgeries and hours of therapy. But his parents say, with support from the Wildland Firefighter Foundation, he will overcome. In Stevensville, Eric Clements, MTN News.
A Neptune aviation tanker is safe on the ground tonight after losing power in one engine in midair. The P-2V, which is a propeller-powered aircraft, diverted to Helena for a precautionary landing after alarms went off while it was flying to a new fire in Dillon. Dan Snyder of Neptune tells us the crew was able to land safely, and crews are already working on replacing the engine tonight. They hope to have the tanker back in the air tomorrow. This is the last year Neptune is flying the workhorse P-2V tankers, which will be retired this fall. We have information on all the fires burning in western Montana continuously on our website, as well as our all the critical information you need, and online with our Facebook and Twitter feeds and the KPAX mobile app.
Well, hard to believe it's almost back to school, and 2 Missoula elementary schools get a new start to kick off the school year. Lowell Elementary in Missoula underwent a major renovation, while Franklin Elementary is virtually brand new. We got a look inside this state-of-the-art school. Just a little more tidying up and the new Franklin Elementary School is ready for the year. Big rooms, bright colors, and lots of light. And finally, more room to learn.
Kids are going to feel like this is their space. They get to make it how they want to. They also can exhibit some of those other learning styles that they haven't been able to in tight spaces.
It's a major upgrade from the old school that was built in 1916. Kids were crammed into small rooms, and the old building couldn't handle the new technology of today. And while all this is brand new and state-of-the-art, the heart of Franklin remains, from old signs to stained glass. A nod to where it all began.
This neighborhood is such a community, the Franklin community, and we have generations of people who have gone through Franklin. We wanted to make sure that we kept some of those iconic symbols for people to remember.
This year's kindergarten class is up by 35 students. That will bring the number of kids going here this year to about 285. But the school has been designed to accommodate up to 450 students in the future if it has to. Classroom space is flexible, designed to fit the learning needs of kids, from stand-up desks to chairs that rock. And classrooms teachers can design to fit their teaching needs. The gym floor is brand new, and the outside of the building it's hard to miss.
We wanted bright colors. We wanted, each entrance has a bright color, and the big yellow and gray and white panels, you know, it shows that it's an elementary. It's not just a brick building with halls and rooms. It's built for kids.
The Franklin project is one of the largest ones supported by the Smart Schools 2020 bond passed in 2015 that includes major projects to upgrade schools around Missoula. And you too can get a look at the brand new school tomorrow from 4 to 6 when Franklin hosts an open house. Also, the newly renovated Lowell Elementary also hosting an open house at the same time.
Coming up next, Aaron shows us who could see some storms through the overnight hours. And look at this, they're worried about avalanches in Switzerland.
Plus, President Trump signing a bill making it easier for veterans to appeal decisions on their disability claims. We'll have details on that still ahead on KPAX.